Hello everyone, this is Willy of Initiate Integrated Solutions. I am talking tonight to TK, but his full name is Tumelo Komape, who is head of digital at City of Joburg. Now, here's a question to you, Tumelo, before we move on, and welcome, by the way. The question is, what is your correct title at the moment? Because I know that there's been a growth in the team and all that. Please tell us what your proper title.
Deputy Director, Online Communications.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the official title.
You know, it's always proper to make sure that we get that part right.
Yes.
You know what? When we first spoke, and this now seems so long ago, we go back to March 2015. You are saying by June we will get to 100,000.
Yes.
Maybe the question then should be, what gave you the confidence at that stage that you will move from 75 to 100,000 followers by June 2015 at that stage?
Well, we had a strategy a working strategy that we were implementing, and I was confident in it. Some of the tactics were, one, we were using what we were calling a follow tactic, or follow other accounts tactic. And I think it's just the culture on Twitter. When you follow somebody, they must return the favor. And if you go online now, you might find people who follow 1 million people and they have 1 million followers exactly. I know some accounts that are like that. It's just a standard working strategy. And secondly, it was purely based also on the other tactic, which is we were implementing what we're calling content for people, which makes our content much more interesting for people who are following us, and therefore we are part we're part of the trends, and people talk about us, talk about what we just tweeted, and then everybody wants to follow us, and therefore we were growing at a certain number. I think at the time we were growing at about 10,000 followers a month, and after that we were growing at 20,000. At some point we were growing at 30,000 followers a month for about 12 months or 2 years. So it was quite a performance. I don't think anybody was actually growing at that rate. If you look at our fellow municipalities, I mean, some of them were way ahead of us when we started. Like City of Cape Town was way ahead of us when we started. Before March, they were so in it. I think at some point we had like 20,000. They had like hundreds of thousand followers, but we managed to catch up and go past them.
Okay. We are now at the 17th of June. You achieved your 100,000 followers goal.
Yeah.
What was your next goal thereafter?
So what was the next goal? The next goal was to then grow at the rate at that time. I think it was 20K followers, or if not 10, 20K followers. Yes, for that year, my goal was to grow at 20K followers a month, and after that, even though I was growing at 35, I still averaged it at 20K. Sometimes we would go to 33, sometimes 30, sometimes 29.
So you hit 35,000 followers at some stage, followers a month?
Yeah, at some stage, yes. Definitely.
Okay.
I mean, at that time...
So the account was seriously on fire.
It was on fire. At that time, I even did interviews in New York, not in New York, but some journalists from New York had interviews with me. I did interviews with BBC. We were on some fire, not only in terms of followers, but our content was crazy. Our content was crazy, and at the time, I think I was just alone.
No, it certainly was. Your content has always been crazy. You were alone at that stage.
I was alone.
What?
I think I've only had the team for 2 years now. What? Or maybe 3 years. Yeah. For a long time, I was just alone. And then one colleague joined, and I think there was, one colleague joined at a later stage, but for a while I was quite alone.
On that note, how big is your team at the moment?
So currently I've got 5 social media officers who I am working very hard to. In fact, I think I've already achieved that, to make them understand, or to understand the tone and the strategy.
Yes.
And I think definitely the team understand the direction I'm trying to take, and that has helped me and has given me some free time to do what I actually love, which is web development. I do love social media, but my love is in web development. And I can tell you now, give me 2 years from now, and we're going to transform the whole city in terms of making it a smart city.
Yeah.
So 2 years and nobody will be visiting our offices anymore. Everything will be done on web in terms of filling, submitting. No one will be coming to the office to submit tenders. No. And that's my goal. In fact, 2 years is a conservative projection. I'm working very hard to ensure that the city's website does everything for a resident. You can report potholes, burst pipes. You can submit your social ESP. You can submit your tender stuff, register on the database online. So literally, if I could, that website could replace the traditional way of doing business, which is literally physically walking into our offices to do some transactions. But I'm going to do our best to make sure everything possible that can be moved over to digital or onto the COJ website.
I see.
Definitely do that.
I see.
And I'm happy that my team has understand the strategy so that I can move on to the full portfolio, because I'm responsible for online communication.
See.
Yes, and so
I can hear the passion with which you're talking about.
Yeah, no.
You know, I can hear the passion. So you're looking at the full spectrum.
Yeah.
And as you say, your next a big one is making sure that you take the services online almost completely.
Full digital experience.
Okay.
And our benchmark.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
So the question I was asking you is, in a few days' time, you will be hitting 1 million Twitter followers. Yeah. Was this ever on your radar?
Yes, of course. By last year, June already. Last year, June, I was expecting to have hit the 1 millionth follower. So my plan was to have reached the 1 millionth follower within 4 years, I think. And I think it took a bit longer. The reason for that is that, so when I was moving a bit from the account to try to transfer the skills, took the account felt that
I
the
see.
TK,
I see.
and I think that was two years ago, and that had an impact on the account. But you know, as a leader, you can't just be we can't just have TK and TK does everything, and
True.
and leadership is about making sure that you are replaceable, and that
Yes.
even if you leave, the city still is able to function normally. And my job was to then create others after me who are able to do what I was doing even better. And I think the team is quite capable. I think they're doing much more, much better than I expected, even better than I thought, better than me. The brilliance is amazing. I'm very proud of the team, and so I expected it to have happened quite earlier.
I see.
Yeah, if you do calculate from, let's say, from June, when we hit our 100,000, if you calculate the average growth of 20K, you'll see we would have hit it maybe a year ago or a little bit earlier. In fact, in my scorecard, I had projected it. I've committed and signed that I'm going to hit the 1 million follower in my scorecard, and I didn't achieve that in my scorecard.
I'm glad you didn't lose your job in the process.
No. I remember the scorecard has the 5 levels, so it was, I think I was on 3rd or 4th. Like, it wasn't a bad performance on the KPA. I think instead of achieving a 5, I think I had a 3 or a 4 somewhere there.
I see.
But the reason for putting it there was to ensure that I implement in terms of the city's growth on digital platforms.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You will know that we published a what other people will call a blog. We call it an insight.
Yes.
Where we compared city of Joburg with 17 other cities across the continent, and the city of Joburg's Twitter followers in terms of numbers are huge by far. The next city that is in line is city of Lagos.
Yeah.
And even there, they look at it more as a state, which is like a metro in this case, more than is a case with us, where we're saying we're looking at the city alone. But being that as it may, city of Lagos is just under 600. And we found that there aren't a lot of cities on Twitter.
Yeah.
Now, what value do you attribute to having such a strong presence on a platform like Twitter? How is it working for the city?
Look, I think it is a great platform. By the way, the research was brilliant. I've read the insight. It's beautiful. I actually loved. I actually read the whole article to the end. Something I hardly do. If an article is a bit long, but I think you have you write quite nicely. There is another platform that writes long articles, but they write nice. So I read. I think it's the Daily Maverick. Daily Maverick, they write long articles, but they write nice. Yeah. So I'm always able to read. So I definitely enjoy your articles.
Thanks on behalf of the team.
Yeah, sure. Look, I'm not so sure how to actually answer your question, but I can say that Twitter as a platform, um, first we need to look at social media as a marketing platform. Social media is not for anything else. Even Google, those are big marketing companies, and they have employed us to produce content and run the platforms on their behalf and create the traffic. It's like a big marketplace, and it's an advertising platform. We publish the content, we advertise the content, and pay them. And if we don't pay them, we're just giving them data and traffic and knowledge, insight about us. So
absolutely, what a business to be in.
You know, so if you look at it that way, you will understand that the platform is a marketing platform. It's a platform to market yourself. However, for every platform, there is a culture. And
Yes.
I think this is where most businesses get it wrong. They want to bring a culture onto the platform, the culture from the office onto the platform. And that's where you find that they sound very scripted. They sound very robotic, you know. So when you get onto a platform, you need to understand the culture of that platform. What are the standards? How do people communicate? And the context, the wider context. For instance, I believe Twitter in London is definitely different from South African Twitter and American Twitter. There's just every country has its own culture in terms of Twitter. So when you jump onto and I think Nando's cracks this very well. They understand the culture, they jump onto the culture and they crack it, you know, and for long we've been benchmarking Nando's in terms of their strategy, in terms of their content marketing strategy. So I think what has helped us to work is to jump onto Twitter, take our content and convert it or customize it and make it social media friendly. And that way, that has helped us to fit in, and that has given us some presence. So Twitter is a marketing platform, social media is a marketing platform, but when you jump onto it, understand the culture, and not only don't most government accounts use it as a notice board. Use social media.
Yes.
It is not a notice board. It is a platform for engagement. If you don't engage, you don't grow. At some point, in 2013, when we started, we used to use it for the whole year. We were just posting, and we were stuck, I think, for about 6 months on under 200 followers.
I see.
You know, and then after that, I think when we started engaging, literally, when we engaged, our numbers started growing by 2,000 in a month. And then after that, 5,000, just from engaging alone. And as I grow into this social media, this Twitter thing, I start to understand, okay, not only engagement, but we need to implement other tactics, and boom. So the other failure of lots of government accounts is that they use the platform to just announce. And then when people engage, they hide. You have to engage. And I go as far as to say there should never be a comment that's left without any response. Even if it's an emoji or an angry emoji, emoji, do something. Because you have to engage, and when you engage, you look good, you sound interested,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's what people want. People want an engaged government. They want government that appear to be listening, and social
Mm-hmm.
media is quite a great listening platform. It helps you to listen and listen in real time and be able to gather that data in real time, and you can be able to turn your strategy around if you use the social media very well to listen. I'm sure you won't know what's happening in Lenasia right now, but social
Mm-hmm.
media is
Mm-hmm.
able to tell you that there's a power outage in some extension in Lenasia, you know.
True.
And maybe it would never even have been covered on radio or a newspaper. You would never have
There
known
you go.
that there is a
There you go.
pothole or the road is flooded there. If you know, so social media allows government to listen and to be able to respond. So it should be looked at as such, and we've used it as a robust platform of engagement.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what I think has given us advantage. But I think key was engagement.
Now, here's a question. The question is, what do you say to not only governments, because even brands have got this challenge where the social media team, before they can engage, they need to consult with somebody, whether in operations. You just said, if there is a problem with electricity in Indonesia, your team does not necessarily work in the electricity department. How do you bridge that knowledge gap between your team and the various departments who are suppliers of the public services?
Look, I think first, maybe let's say you cannot have a social media team that has to report everything to another group, that has to get approval for every tweet. That is not going to work, because you're going to suffocate creativity, and you don't want a creative environment to be a nervous environment where people are scared to post, and therefore that is the other limitation. You find that most brands sound very scripted. It's because it was approved by the manager and your social media team. They just post. So you don't have a team. You just have people who are posting. It's like having someone who just sends emails. Their job is to click send. You don't want your team to be postmen. You don't want them to just click send on Twitter. You want them to take your product, your content, and match it to the culture, and match it to what's trending, and align it to the context, and align it to the time of the day, to the time of the month. I mean, imagine on a Friday and somebody's tweeting something as very difficult to engage on a Friday. I mean, on a Friday, I think some people don't even listen to the same radio station.
True.
In fact, I think some TV stations don't play news on weekends, because assumption is that it's quite a chilled day, or it's weekend, it's chilled. The mood is different. Or you are not in a space mentally to consume hard content. So I think we need to package content according to time of day. Content must be aligned to what's trending. It must be aligned to the context. It must change to the platform. Content that goes onto the web should not be the same that goes onto Twitter, should not be the same as the one that goes onto Instagram and the one that goes onto Facebook. But besides that, I believe the team has to understand your product so much that they speak from the heart, that they speak as if they are telling their friend about your products and services. The moment they read the script, they are detached, and you can't talk to your friend reading the script. You can't read a script for your friend. That's not. I don't understand what kind of relationship that would be. You know, when you're engaging your friend, you're speaking to them like, you know, they are your friend, explaining whatever you are trying to explain. And I believe that your team has to understand the products and services so much that they are able to present them to the public in a lingo that the public can understand. So you find that sometimes government is treated using hard bureaucratic government language that people don't even have time or can't even interpret, you know.
Yeah.
So our job is to be able to do that, is to convert that hard content, that difficult content, and sometimes or all the time boring government content, and make it much more engaging. And I believe using visuals, memes, etc., adding a little bit of slang here and there where possible to make your content interesting. That should be the key.
So I got two elements of your success formula.
Yeah.
The one is you got to engage. You can't use Twitter as your notice board.
Yeah.
The second one is you have to understand the Twitter speak.
Yeah.
The time of day, the context, what's the trending topic, and so on and so on. I'm wondering, because a lot of brands, and not government only, they battle with the second part.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because you're saying bureaucracy will not work when it comes to Twitter, and bureaucracy is so existent in a lot of organizations.
Yeah.
Why do you think organizations are still scared to let go? What is it about the local government in the city of Johannesburg that has allowed you guys? They've literally given you a blank check.
Yes.
Why you and why not the others?
Well, when we started, we created the culture. And literally I fought, and maybe fighting is not the right word at this time.
Yeah, but we know what you mean.
But we created that culture that said that, well, at the time I was alone. Nobody was taking us seriously anyway, and you know. But we started the same as everybody, first getting a media statement, an approved statement, and just breaking it down and posting. And one day I was busy posting about hashtag Save Water, and I was sitting right on this couch tweeting, and it wasn't flying yet. I think at the time we had about 100,000 followers or something. And I'm thinking, I just tweeted this to about 100,000 followers and no single retweet. I think there was one like. There was one like, yes. And I'm like, what is it that I'm doing wrong? I mean, this is important information about saving water, which can even help you with your bill. If your bill is going out of hand, you know, you can use some of these tactics to, but nobody cared. Nobody was retweeting it then. And I think that day I decided, no, I need to do something else. And I think that's where I started realizing that our content is boring. or what I'm
Yeah.
tweeting is boring. People
Yeah.
are actually retweeting things that they like, or there is content that's funkier, there's content that's sexier out there, and that's what people are engaging. Because I see, I mean, when I look at Bonanza account, aka Zint,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just post the picture and everybody's retweeting. What is it that I'm doing
Yeah.
wrong? Must I post the safety picture on the government account? You know, so so I started thinking a lot on how can we as government make our content engaging, and after that it was just, I mean, the ideas were just flowing.
See.
So we
See.
started using what we call trending topics, engaging trending
Uh-huh.
topics,
Uh-huh.
trending, using trending videos or trending visuals, whether it's memes, graphics, or funky videos. So the idea was that if your copy is boring, use
Mm-hmm.
a visual to drive traffic to your boring copy. And if you look,
See.
I think this culture has been there. Remember the old ads? I remember there was this other ad. I think it was a Range Rover ad where
Okay.
the lady was cleaning it on top, and I think she was hanging from top of the tree and just cleaning it.
Okay.
Uh, at the end, that video had nothing to do with whatever that was being advertised. I think they were talking about insurance, and the video was going this direction, and whatever they were trying to advertise was going this direction. And I think the idea is that the visuals drive traffic to copy, and if you use them
Mm-hmm.
very well, your boring content can reach people. So we started jumping onto that trend of using memes, sometimes memes that have nothing to do with the copy.
I
And the
see.
idea was to drive traffic to the boring copy. And as we grew, then we started creating funky copy, funky content, and that's where we were getting a lot of traction because it was just new, and lots of newspapers were wondering how can government, this is new, this is different, government has never
Mm-hmm.
communicated like this before. And I think then our social media now was becoming much more covered in the media space, and leadership started realizing, okay, well, we will let you handle it, although we don't agree with some of your posts. We think
Yeah.
we think it's working. So, and I think it's been like that since. However, I had to put my foot down at some point. There were times where, I mean, people were saying, how can government post like this? People who are quite
Mm-hmm.
conservative. But I think I had to put my foot down to say, no, the strategy has been working, and it's been left like that. And you know what? There's no winning. If you're going to do the script approach, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
The strict approval processes for social media is not gonna work. Social media posts have to come from the heart. The team has to understand the product so well that they can treat in the spur of the moment, and I don't even believe that your team has to be at the office all the time. That suffocates creativity. Allow the team to go out and allow them to work in different spaces, allow them to communicate the same message differently. I don't give my team script. I don't give them messages. I give them hashtags. I say, hashtag save water. Every day you tweet hashtag save water, but I don't know what you're going to tweet. You also don't know.
Find ways.
You're going to find a way. And how do you find a way? Because on the hour, everything's changed. You look what's trending. What's trending? How do you jump on without sounding like you ambush the trend? How do you sound funky? How do you sound smarter? How do you sound exciting? But you're communicating government messaging. So I think that's the best approach. Otherwise, imagine every day tweeting the same tweet, same line, Monday to Friday.
Come
on, it's not gonna work.
Here's a question. Here's a question to you. I've had the privilege of looking at the current government mandated digital communication policy.
Yes.
And the last time I checked, it was last updated in 2011 or something like that.
Yeah.
So the question is, why is it that the government communications team is not adopting the City of Joburg style?
And I've done training everywhere. I've been even to the Eastern Cape. I've been to the what is it called? Is it the AU? They had a conference in Lesotho. I was there.
I see.
I've been everywhere sharing the strategy. Well,
so it's not like you've been hiding
no.
Joburg's success formula.
Certainly not a hoarder of information. I always share the strategies, the ideas. If you look at all the articles that have been written, we've always shared our strategy. One, engagement at the top. Two, so engagement in real time. Two, as a tactic, leverage on trending topics on the hour, every day. Content marketing, very important. Your content has to be contextualized based on time of the day, time of the week, and obviously throw away the script. Throw away the script. And these are simple tactics to help you. And I mean to grow, follow other accounts. If anybody implements these tactics, your account is definitely going to grow. We only started doing paid advertising in the last 2 years. We have never grown from paid. I mean, all our growth was organic. Even our impact, we were averaging about 3 million to 5 million reach per campaign, and we would have like 10 in a week. Every campaign between 3 to 5 million, and our impressions were crazy. So I think I must admit, apart from the other tactics, it is quite difficult. The tactic around leveraging on trends, using trending visuals, and bringing government content onto the trends. It's quite a difficult.
Why is it?
One, you have to have the freedom. One.
Yes.
And
are you implying that many social media teams within government, and we know this happens even in private business, they don't have this.
The environment is politicized. One. Two is overmanaged, and three, they don't take advantage of the wealth of skill of their team, or they have the wrong team. They employ wrong. They usually take a person from marketing or from communication and just say, hey, we have Twitter here, just tweet. They haven't recognized it as a specialist role. So you need to start the right way, and if you go in digital, you need to understand what you're doing and be intentional when you're hiring. But I must admit, my team sometimes still struggle with the tactic around. I've just had the coaching last week around leveraging on trends. It's a very difficult a skill. And
what makes it so?
Because,
what makes it difficult?
Because one, you have to take content, scripted content, look at what's trending. Let's say, what's a difficult trend? My phone is here. Let's see what's trending. Yeah, sure. So
what if it's EFF?
You know, so what's trending is great R and hashtag Gomora Mzansi. That's the one. I mean, to jump onto Gomora Mzansi, come on. There's Mihlali trending. There's Papa Penny Aye, come on. I mean, I can tweet something like save water on Papa Penny Aye right now.
I'm with you. In fact, I'm going to challenge you to tweet something immediately when we die on Papa Penny with save water.
No, I've been doing this for years. I mean, I'm sure I will tweet something. Okay, yeah. So Isiba,
we want to bring it onto this video to say, you remember what he said? Here is proof that it can be done.
Hashtag the river one magic. Okay, you can go on to Twitter and just search at City of Joburg and search hashtag date my family. You will see I've tweeted many times. So the list here is a lot of.
I will do so.
It's a lot of TV shows in the evenings, and you'll find you'll see that it's most of those tweets that leveraged on the trends. They were averaging sometimes 1,000 retweets. 1,000 retweets. And that's the difference.
Because you tweeted relevant content that people that resonates.
Relevant hashtag. Otherwise, you are on your own. So you have to be where your people are. So here, what's happening on Twitter is that in the evenings, people are watching TV. So whatever is playing on TV trends. In the mornings and throughout the day is breaking news, right? So your job as a marketer is to be where your people are, not anywhere else, not in your own little hashtag Brawidi there or hashtag no. What else?
Did you have to use my name?
So you have to be where your customers.
No, it's true.
These are your customers right here. Your customers.
I agree. This is what they're talking about right now.
Yeah, they are talking. And I was shocked. One day I was doing a presentation at one of the banks, and I said yesterday, hashtag budget speech was trendy, and you as a bank, you tweeted nothing. You tweeted nothing. I was very disappointed. I was I was doing a training, and this shows you when you have. When you make the process of approval too strict, you lose out on the opportunities, because this trend happen. Some of them pop up for 15 minutes and they are gone.
I agree.
And if you don't give your team the freedom, they are not able to leverage, because they're still waiting for a boss who's still in a meeting to come sign off the tweet. By the time you come out of your meeting to sign off, the trend is gone. You lost the opportunity. You've lost the opportunity to grow. You lost the opportunity for impact to reach bigger numbers. So the difficulty is that is to make government content like turn off your or switch off your geyser to save electricity, right? And how do you make that message jump onto hashtag Muvango, hashtag the river one magic, hashtag date my family? And that is the thinking process that has to happen. How do I jump in and not sound like I'm ambushing the trend? How do I jump in and sound smart and sound funky and sound funny? And the idea is that you open the hashtag and look at what's the spirit of the hashtag. What is it that people are
Yes.
talking about? What happened? And what memes are being used, etc., etc. And then now you definitely you start to catch the mood of the hashtag, and then you find a nice angle to jump into the trend without sounding boring and like you're ambushing the trend. And I think that is the job of a social media specialist. It's literally to take the brand's content to people, not to tick the box. Because what the brands are doing, they make you tick the box. Say, was it done? Yes. But they don't measure the impact. If you go measure the impact, you realize you're not making an impact. Your tweets are not reaching anybody. And that's why you need to change your metrics to say what you want to achieve. If it's reach, then your tactics are going to have to change. You're going to have to move from just ticking the box to say, okay, we've sent 10 tweets this week. Great. But how many people have seen your tweets? And you will realize you need different tactics to increase your reach.
Yes, here's a question then. We are in the midst of COVID-19. How do you think that the presence that the city of Johannesburg has on social media generally and on Twitter specific, how do you think the presence helped, given the challenges we've had with COVID of misinformation and disinformation in some cases? How did the strength of your presence help in combating incidents of fake news, COVID-19 specifically?
Well, first, we are a verified platform, and secondly, we I think we were working very closely with the national departments. We also had a forum in the city that was just working on COVID-19 content. I think that has gone a long way. But what I had observed is that, in fact, we were doing a lot of service delivery messaging in terms of the clinics that are open, where to go to find information or to get assisted, what to do if you are sick, etc., etc. We were pushing a lot of content around that on a daily basis. And we were using the same tactics that I was sharing to look what's trending. Sometimes it's hashtag stay home essay, hashtag COVID-19 that's trending on the day, or is hashtag COVID-19 essay, or hashtag. So there were different hashtags. So we would jump onto those hashtags to share the information.
There's a mosquito doing some funny stuff around my head. Sorry. The joys of doing this from home.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what I had observed was that the engagement was quite critical.
Yes.
And even people would ask us questions that we like, even after the president has maybe shared something, you'd find them on our Twitter asking us,
asking you questions,
asking us questions. Why? Because we at the time, maybe we are the only ones who seem to be available because we are engaging on other things, etc., etc. So engagement is very important. If you just post and go, then you leave everybody, you leave your residents, stranded, especially if they need further information. So our engagement helped us to even clarify some of the issues or some of the details that were required. And we were able to sometimes even pull information from the other platforms and share it with the person who was asking us. We were not, I don't believe that when, as a government department, you should be just easily referred, the resident to another platform when you can actually,
yes
or when you can easily find that information. So
Mm.
I think we pushed a lot of information. We are a verified platform, and we also ensured that we're working closely with the national department so that our information is always verified and comes from it's approved by the department. Even within within the city of Joburg, from the Department of Health, we had those. When it comes to matters of or health information, definitely there you need to be play by the book and have your content approved. Even if you want to be funky around it, but the facts must be accurate.
So the are you then saying that having an account with such a strong presence actually helped for wider dissemination, for effective dissemination?
Yes.
And the question then becomes, what do you think could have happened if there wasn't any presence? Because there are countries, there are cities, as you will have seen from our insight. Casablanca is not on Twitter. Marrakesh is not on Twitter. Cairo is not on Twitter. And we're talking from an official local government Twitter handle point of view.
Mm.
So with those cities in mind, what do you think could have happened if Josie didn't have such a strong presence, given the issue of COVID disinformation that we have right now?
So both the government and the residents will be uninformed. As I've said earlier, social media gives you real-time listening ability, or it's a great platform to listen. You would not know that right now, unless if you have an advanced system that is able to tell you when there's a power outage or when there's a pothole. But right now, the best bet is someone to tweet it, or a counselor to go find it. So social media is a great listening platform. So if we did not have such presence, we would not be able to know. We won't be able to listen to we would have to wait maybe for the end of the week newspaper. There used to be the section, remember back in the day where, there were comments and I think complaints, etc. So you would have to wait for the whole week to listen, and it doesn't
what
cover
your
everybody.
Residents are saying,
and it doesn't even cover everybody, And I think also radio also used to be the platform for that, but there's only it's not the whole day that you can.
True, you have to wait for that call-in slot. Yeah,
that there's certain show that allows some calls, and it's not everybody. It's maybe someone from that place, and
True.
So such social media.
If you don't have a phone,
exactly,
or the queue is too long, then you're in trouble.
Your airtime. So social media is a great listening platform in real time. Anytime the data is quite huge. I mean, you can just go right now and search hashtag potholes, Joburg, Johannesburg. It will give you lots and lots of data. And not only on Twitter, you can go search the same on Facebook. People are always talking, but they don't just talk verbally. They store the information online.
I think what you said, which is also important, TK, is that they may not be talking to you, but your job is to listen. Exactly. Because they may be talking about public services. So if you look out for public service related topics, you will find out.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Hello Peter was supposed to do that, to allow people to vent and talk, and lots of brands used to go there to go see what are they
True.
saying about.
True.
But now social media allows it to happen at a bigger scale, and your job is to listen. And if you go there, there's literally an opportunity for you to improve. Just listen, just search your brand, or search using certain keywords about your brand to find lots of relevant information. So without presence, you are not able to have an impact. Like I said, social media is a marketing platform. As we have seen, our leadership has allowed us, in fact, has suggested that we do something for youth people, for young people, for the youth month. And then we were looking at different ideas, and we came with one to say we're going to allow youth-based enterprises to use our platform as a marketing platform. So you just take us with your products and services, and we will retweet, because we recognize that social media is a marketing platform. So without presence, you're not able to have impact, you're not able to reach anybody, you're not able to promote your services, etc. So it is quite important for municipalities and metros and government as a whole to use social media as a marketing platform. It is quite cost effective. There's literally, you can literally, anybody can do it. There are different tactics, but you can start and just you can start without having to pay a lot of money. As compared to traditional media, if you have to place something on radio or on TV, it will cost you a lot of money. But on social media, you can literally start today and start communicating. I think it is an important platform. If you don't have big presence, or if you don't have any presence whatsoever, you are denying yourself an opportunity to reach bigger audiences, to change lives, to have impact, to communicate, and to listen and learn. And I think if you can't listen to your residents, how are you going to develop? Because integrated development is supposed to crowdsource the ideas. People are supposed to tell you what they want for you to come and build the bridge that they want, the school that they want. But if you don't have platforms to hear them, it's impossible. It's difficult to communicate to them. It's difficult for them to communicate to you. And it makes it difficult if you're using the traditional media, that they must drive to your office, they must sit in the traffic, they must queue to come just tell you, talk to you. And that's not good. I think we should bring government to people, and we should create platforms that allow people to easily access us. We should be transparent. And creating, hence I'm saying digital transformation is quite critical, and to be aware of the context. I mean, I do banking on my phone. I don't remember the last time I was in the bank, and now if I have to deal with government, I have to drive out. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Tell me something as we head towards closing, TK, and I really appreciate the time that you have taken to chat, given that we've had these two misses previously.
Yeah.
How do you think the way Josie is so active in social media, how do you think that has influenced the responsiveness from the service delivery point of view? Because you as a communications team, you can only do so much.
Yeah.
How do you think your strong presence and your active real-time all the time engagement, your listening, your ability to put out fun, interesting content. How has it influenced the process internally from a public service delivery point of view?
Look, I think our social media is quite powerful in terms of driving service delivery. It's quite powerful. First of all, if you go out and treat this best water pipe down the road, if I see that tweet, I'll immediately send an email to Joburg Water, and they will reply immediately with a reference number, and I will give you the reference number. And that pipe will be replaced within 2 hours to 24 hours. Sometimes it takes a bit longer, but it doesn't take the whole week. It doesn't take 3 days. It doesn't. And the same with if you report a pothole, we will do the same. We will ensure that it is escalated. If it's a power outage, we will log a call, or we will at least text City Power, and a technician will be notified, and that power will be restored within 5 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours. So refuse collection issue, the same. So on these 3 areas already, and these are huge. These are huge service delivery areas. Our social media is able to literally ensure that that information flows to the right people. And not only...
And they do something with it.
The technicians get that power sorted out. If we don't log it, we at least advise the resident how to log it. We give them the link to the platform, or we give them the email they need to use, etc., etc. So that in itself is quite huge, and our social media is the first point of contact of
it is.
Yeah, and it's a preferred method of engagement between ourselves and the resident. So instead of calling the call center and holding, people just prefer to tweet us, and then we take action. So these areas that I've mentioned usually get resolved at least within 12 hours, 24 hours. So, and that's a huge activity on a daily basis. And so we're driving a lot of service delivery there. The ones that take a bit longer is the billing queries, because the turnaround times for that department is a little bit longer. So our social media is literally at the center of service delivery in the City of Joburg, because not only on the main account, the entities have their own Twitter accounts. If you look at City Power, every 2-3 minutes they are engaging somebody on their issue. JRA as well. It's just that I think there was the issues of COVID-19 has had an impact on the team, but what they do on a daily basis, they would engage. You'd find a lot of reference numbers going on Twitter. If you look at MTN, for instance, or even Vodacom, how they're using social media to engage. Instead of calling, sitting on, you just treat them, and then they'll take you to their inbox sometimes, and then you get a reference number, and your issue is sorted in real time. So I think although our systems are not where I think they should be in the City of Joburg, I think we're doing quite well with what we have. And hence I said to you at the beginning that we are very close to transforming and to improving the experience, the customer experience, in terms of using web as well to enable service delivery, to ensure that our website does the work for us in terms of capturing data and then storing it on the relevant platform, and then the platform pops the reference number, and then the relevant teams on the ground maybe even using their phones, they're able to get a reference number saying there's a pothole at such a place, and then they got the details, and then they go have it fixed. So we are working on it, on different ideas. In fact, for the Youth Month, what we wanted to implement was an online form that allows youth enterprises to submit and register on the database without coming to our offices, including sending their documents, everything. And I think that will be implemented quite soon. And we go in that direction to improve the experience and ensure that the systems and the technology that is out there is able to enable us and allow us to engage better and make it much more easier for the resident. So residents don't have to come to our offices and don't have to queue in the call center to reach us, but they can use this platform to communicate with us.
So 2 last questions, TK. The second last is what is your response to what we hear where people say, Twitter is not social media. Don't assume everybody is on Twitter.
Yeah.
Given how strong City of Joburg is on Twitter, what is your response to people who say that?
Well, I think one is based on assumption. We've got big surveys that have been done in the City of Joburg, and amongst the other preferred method of communication is social media. And in fact, surprisingly, people have preferred email as the top method of communication. And then they preferred some local radio station, but at the top across, it was social media. And I think if you look at the stats, you'll find that in Africa, there are more cell phones than there are people. And if you look at the activity on the cell phone, the number one activity is WhatsApp, and then it's followed by social media, with Facebook being at the top. So we do know that even people who we think are poor or disadvantaged at least do have an access to a phone, and they are able to perform some activities, at least an SMS, and social media is the top activity on that phone. So but apart from that, we've seen when we post, we tweet, when we advertise vacancies on our social media, how that information goes to every corner possible. So we believe that even if people don't have access to social media, or don't have access to Twitter, information is still able to reach Rahulu and Kuku, who doesn't have Twitter somehow, because the one that's on Twitter tells them. So we don't say that Twitter, not everybody is on Twitter. We believe that the information will still flow to the person who doesn't have Twitter. And we've seen that when we advertise the ESP, their program, that expanded social package, you'll see that you get application from people we know are not on Twitter, and we have not really advertised it on any other platform. How does the granny Soweto know about ESP that we've only advertised it on our website? It's because the information flows. How does a person who is somewhere far in Limpopo, in the rural of Limpopo, know about the fact that we have a vacancy? That sometimes those people are not even on Twitter, but they heard about it. A friend who's on Twitter told them. So Twitter is I think people have to look at it as a platform. It's a marketing platform. It is a platform of communication. And when you communicate, people take that communication and pass it on to whoever they feel needs to know the information.
Yeah.
So I think our social media is quite impactful in that regard, that whatever we push out will definitely go as far possible to whoever is relevant for that information. And one case yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, go on. A two-part question is a follow-up to this before I ask the very last question.
Sure.
In terms of the platforms, which platforms are you on right now? Twitter is one, and then
Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook as well. I think we've got about over 100,000 followers on Facebook, Instagram, I think around 20, LinkedIn, I think around 30.
20, you mean 1,000, right?
Yeah.
Instagram, you mean 20,000. Not 20.
Not 20, yeah. Let me check, but I think around there. And then LinkedIn, I think around 30,000 followers.
Okay.
Yes.
So the sheer numbers of followers, is it fair to be looking at those to make an assumption that you are to make an assumption that Twitter is your most impactful of the platforms because it's now edging close to 1 million?
No, I think it has something to do with the history of.
Okay, tell me.
Of where we're coming from.
Because
I was the only one at the time. I can only give one account the full attention.
True.
So we only managed to actually give Facebook some attention. Only 3 years ago when the team came on board. And I think it's coming along very well. But it was also we are also trying to change our tactics on Facebook, although we are not able to give it full attention. But we still find that it's got a different culture. So at some point I tried to break the team into two. The colleagues who I feel are a little bit conservative, I would put them on Facebook and to see how it goes, and even our Instagram. So we really work very hard to crack to understand the culture of Facebook and how do we move the people there on Facebook to where we think we want them to be. And how do we work our content on Facebook to where we think we want it to be? And we've been seeing a good spike in terms of our numbers. Now averaging around 5,000 followers a month, sometimes 7,000 on Facebook. So I think it's gonna get there definitely.
The last question, TK, you have already given lots and lots of tips of advice and all that. What will be the last words to the other local governments? And I'm talking specifically local governments who haven't started venturing into social media, if there's any last word.
Well, I think maybe perhaps let me say the last words should be for everyone who had a chance to watch this video, that social media is a great platform. It's a marketing platform. It is for nothing else. It's an engagement platform, it's a communication platform.
Mm-hmm.
And what you communicate is very important. Your information, as soon as it hits social media, it stays. It never goes, even if you try and delete it. So you need to be very careful. Stay away stay away from politics on social media. Stay away from gender topics that are sensitive. Topics around racism. Stay away from those. You must understand that employers, before they can hire you, they look at your social media presence to kind of have an idea of what kind of person you are. If you are racist, if you post, if you are posting, racist information, if you condone racism and gender-based violence, etc., that won't work for you, especially if you are job hunting. Even if you have a job already, your social media, what you say on social media is very, very important. So I think people have to be careful of how of what they share on social media. I mean, even if you are about to leave for a holiday, I mean, you don't need to post it, because when you post it, even the thieves can see, oh, okay, this person who lives at such and such an address is going away for a holiday for 2 weeks. Great opportunity for us to go break in, So you have to be aware of what you're sharing. Yeah, your information is very, very, what you share is very important. But for governments that are not using social media, I think I don't know what platforms they are using, and what would be the reason. But I think first you need to ask yourself, are you communicating first? And if you're communicating, to who? And why are you communicating to those people, and why are you using the platforms that you're using? And as soon as you need to understand your audience, you will understand what platforms your audience is using. And in this day and age, definitely your residents are using social media as a platform of communication. Going with any other platform, you're literally communicating to yourself, or you're literally communicating to a smaller number of people, or you are just ticking the box. I think it should be called wasteful expenditure to communicate on irrelevant platforms, really. And I think it's difficult. I mean, we still face difficulties even in the city of Joburg to explain, to colleagues that, times have changed, people have moved. Digital spend has to grow, and traditional spend has to, shrink. But I think there are some people who still believe, if I've been on radio, I've communicated. And you'll be surprised how much you communicate when you are on Twitter, when you are on Facebook, compared to when you're on radio. But, so you have these two generations that, that still don't understand each other very well. And I think as a communicator, you have to understand your audience well, and be able to win over leadership that is maybe believing in the old school way of communicating, and make them understand that the times have changed, and even our communication has to change, has to move with the times. Our spend has to increase on digital than on traditional media, because it's much more measurable, and it can be much more targeted, and you can literally see your results. You can literally measure every campaign as it happens. So I think, in fact, even the leaders, the mayors, the presidents have to have. I mean, I always tell my colleagues, I think the mayor needs an Instagram account. He needs to have an Instagram. you know.
Yeah.
And he needs to appear human and not like the mayor. He must be
Yes.
seen as a human being, you know.
Okay.
And even if he's on social media, on Twitter, I believe that even the leaders, the councillors, need to engage on social media, because
Absolutely.
we need to take government to people. We need to be quite engaged. So I think social media has to be. Uh, uh, we have to use the platforms that our people are using, instead of just ticking the box or using the traditional platforms that maybe are no longer even the favorites. I mean, even when I'm watching TV, I'm right here, I'm like here, TV,
There you go.
TV,
There you go.
and with
There
phone
you go.
getting more attention. And in fact, my news break on Twitter, I hardly get my breaking news on. I haven't had my breaking news on any platform in the last, I don't know, so many years. On a daily basis, I go what's trending to see the breaking news. And you'll see that tomorrow, some of the radios and TV are trying to cover what broke on Twitter today. And that is like 12, 24 hours later, you know. So by the time you respond, or you know, or about something that's happening in your own metro, it will be very late if you don't have this platform, which enables you to listen in real time and maybe even be able to respond and save lives. You know, if we can't treat you and tell you, hey, your city is on fire, how are you gonna know? Are you gonna know tomorrow? Or you know, if you don't have Twitter and Facebook, how are you gonna know that your city is on fire? You're gonna wait for the letter to be written to you, you know. So you need to look at it as a great listening platform that gives you the ability to listen now and know what's
Absolutely.
about your city. Yeah.
TK, thank you very much. It was a very insightful chat.
Sure.
I certainly enjoyed myself. You know, I'm privileged to know people who are so steeped in this new media and who don't only talk about it but have got practical experience, which you know they can draw the lessons from and share them as freely as you have done.
Yeah.
So what's the next target now on the closing one?
Look, we've changed.
In a few days, we'll be on the millions.
Yeah.
What's the next target?
Well, we look. I don't know. For some reason, I love risks. I love risks so much. I think, you know, we've heard that some of the metric. What do they call them? What's the word they use? There's another word I usually hear in the agencies. A useless metric, but there's a nice word that they use. More bigger way to say a metric is useless, it's unimportant. So
vanity.
Yes, vanity metrics. Yeah. So we've heard that you know, I've known for quite a while that agencies are now moving away from this follower metric to other.
Okay.
So I've since moved the metric on my scorecard. I've replaced it with the reach per campaign, and so the objective now is to increase our reach per campaign, and we averaging what? The last campaign we were doing on IDP, I think we had reached about 5 million direct reach. So that's what we're chasing. But in terms of our followers, I still have that on my scorecard. But because the bigger, the better, you know, and it gives you just much more impact.
I agree.
I think let's give it a 2M in 2 years.
Good stuff. We will end it on that note then. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy what's left of this evening. If you are late night, and I know you are. So yeah, that ends it here.
Thank you, Praveen.
Thank you so much.